Scandals at the IRS raising new questions about the agency's funding at a critical time for President Obama's health care plan. Some Republicans are looking to slash the agency's budget following revelations of targeting of conservative groups and, of course, the lavish agency spending on employee conferences. But President Obama, he wants to increase IRS funding ahead of full implementation of the new health care law. David Hawkings, he's the editor of CQ's Roll Call Daily Briefing. Thank you so much for joining us, David.
Nice to be with you.
So how will, if at all, the latest scandals involving the IRS impact funding from Obamacare or for Obamacare?
Well, I think that obviously the Republicans have been trying to defund, as they say, or clip the wings for implementing Obamacare since the day it was enacted. This looks to be the best chance that they have had yet. There is a spending bill that has to be enacted once a year to pay the budget of the IRS. The president wants 14% more. He wants to take it up to about $13 billion. Only about 5% of that would be spent on implementing Obamacare, but that looks like a pretty ripe target and a pretty easy way politically for the Republicans to punish the agency. It's going to be hard. I have a hard time seeing how the Democrats are going to argue against essentially rewarding this agency at a time when it's, under so much fire.
Right, when it's not even spending the money that it has correctly, because we're not just talking about agents targeting Tea Party and other conservative groups. We have nearly $50 million spent on employee conferences from 2010 through 2012. In 2010, apparently, the agency used some money that was budgeted to hire enforcement agents to instead pay for a conference that cost $1.4 million. So on that alone, do they deserve to be trusted with more money?
Well, that's the point that the Republicans will make. The Democrats will make the point that this is a little bit like burning down the village to save it, that this isn't an appropriate way to treat the agency at a time that it's being given new responsibilities, that the Republicans might not like the new health care law, but it is going into effect. And if the IRS is going to be have any success at doing the two things that it's supposed to be doing, the two things are giving out subsidies in the form of tax credits to people to help them buy insurance.
Right.
And remembering from a year ago that you have to pay a penalty now, a tax penalty, if you don't buy insurance. They're going to be in charge of deciding who has to pay that. That it's going to be very difficult to get them to do that job if they don't have the right money to do it.
Yeah, all of that starting in 2014, and apparently that is why the president says he needs what will amount to a 14% increase over current spending, hiring the additional 2,000 new employees. About $440 million of that goes toward implementing, the new health care law out of the $12.9 billion total that he's asking for. So who else could be in charge of that?
Oh, who else could be in charge of doing it? I don't think anybody else could be in charge of doing it. But the issue, to me, the larger issue here for the Republicans is that they have a chance to essentially shift the focus of their annoyance at the IRS from this scandal, the vague word scandal. It's going to take a long time and a lot of effort for them to, if they are able to prove what they suspect, which is that this was run out of Washington, the notion of targeting the Tea Party groups, and instead make the IRS sort of their example, their Exhibit A for a government that's run amok.
Well, we have Exhibit
A,
Exhibit A airing next to you right now, the line dancing video, and what that cost.
the line dance. So that certainly is strong evidence that the IRS has more money than it needs, right?
David, I want to ask you about this, though. Sarah Hall Ingram, just quickly. She is now head of the IRS Healthcare Office, which in and of itself, the IRS Healthcare Office sounds weird. She oversaw the tax-exempt division when agents first started improperly targeting those conservative groups. Should she still be in that role?
Well, obviously, that's a question that many Republicans will be asking. It would seem to me that politically, it's probably best for the administration to bend over backwards to make sort of appearances of sort of on their face appearances of inappropriateness go away. I'm kind of surprised that she's stuck around as long as she has, if that's given the connection.
All right, David Hawkins, thank you so much. We appreciate your insight as always this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.